We're gonna start from the Mishnah. Mem Gimel Amud Beis 43b. It's 7 lines from the bottom. It says the Mishnah, if somebody thinks and to be shaleach yad, he's safeguarding an object, and he decides he's going to steal, he's going to use this object, and he didn't actually use it, but he had a machshava, he had intention to do that. And Rashi speaks out. He actually spoke it out. He didn't a thought is not enough. Chayshev over here means he actually spoke it out. B'shamay erim chayev. B'shamay says he's already chayev from speaking it out, and he becomes a goslin right then. Basil says ein chayev achi yishaleach bayad. He's only chayev until he needs a ma'isa. Yeah, he needs an action of grabbing and stealing to be chayev. Shenemar, because it says because we have a pasuk. If he didn't, it says over there an action. Shlichas yad sounds like an action. Says the Mishnah no halacha. Hita es chavis. Okay, he was guarding a barrel, the good old barrel. V'natal hemena revius, and he took out a revius. V'nishbara, and the whole chavis broke. So over here, he didn't do shlichas yad. He didn't steal the whole barrel. He just stole a revius of the barrel. So what he stole, he's chayiv. The rest of the barrel, he is pater. However, if he lifted it up, and then when he lifted it up, now that's already shlichas yad. That's already called a ma'isa kinyan, an action of stealing. So then that's stealing the whole thing. Hikbiyah, if he lifted it up, v'natal hemena revius, v'nishbara, mishal and mekula, then he's responsible for everything, and he has to pay for everything. Okay, says the Gemara, Mem Dalet Amud Aleph 43a. Binani Mili. 44a. Okay, Binani Mili. Where do we know this from? That you need to have that Beis Shammai is the one that says that. Where's Beis Shammai know that you don't need actually action as long as you speak it out that you're chayav? The Tana Rabbanan, the Brisa says, "I'll call devar pesha." That's the pasuk talking about shlichas yad by a shemer, by a watcher, and it says devar pesha, and it says dibor. Beis Shammai Emer malamed shechayav al machshava kamaisa. He's chayav even with speech, speaking it out. Even though machshava, machshava over here is translated as a speech. As Basil says, Basil says you need an action. If he didn't actually send his hand, which is an action, in the object. Amru lahan Beishamai leBeisilal, says Beishamai to Beisilal. Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'll call Dvar Pesha. It says Dvar Pesha. It sounds like even a dibor, even a speech. Amru lahan Beisilal Beishamai. It says held to Beishamai. What do you mean? It says an action. Okay, so really we have two psukim over here. We have to figure them out. Says the Gemara, Imkain. Beisila says back to Beishamai, if so, Ma Talmud Leimer I'll call Dvar Pesha. Okay, so what do I say about Dvar Pesha? Actually, Dibor actually talking it out. Sheyachal, I might think, Ein li Elahu. Shlichas yad is only if he actually stole the object, the watcher himself. Amar la'avda yishluchai minayin. If he sent his eved, his servant, l'shluchai to his shliach, his messenger, his helper, minayin means I wouldn't know that he's chayiv. That's why you need Talmud Leimer al kol devar pesha. That's why you need an extra pasuk to include us and to include for us that a shliach is also chayiv. Okay, the Gemara continues on to the case in the Mishnah. Hita es chavis. Somebody tilted the chavis and he didn't actually pick it up, so he never actually made a kinyan. He never actually stole the whole barrel. Only whatever he poured out. Amar Rabba leishanu la nishbara. what the Mishnah says that he's pater, he's on the whole barrel is only when it broke, because breaking has nothing to do with him. But if he tilted the barrel, and what happened was that the wine went sour, it became vinegar, then Misham is kula. It's interesting. My time at Giri Dedeyu Dehanila, because then it's his fault. When the wine is very stable, and when it gets moved around, then it causes and it stirs up the bacteria to turn the wine into vinegar, and he's the one that caused that. So it's his action, and he's responsible for that. Okay, the Gemara continues on. 2 dots. Hikbia v'natal himena. However, if he lifted it up, and even if he only took out a revius, only took out a small amount of wine, he's responsible for the whole thing, because he was made of Ma'aser. He actually picked it up. Amar Shmuel, says Shmuel, loy natal mamish. The Mishnah that says that he lifted it up, it doesn't mean he actually lifted it up. Natal means the Mishnah says 2 things. He lifted it up, and he natal, and he took some wine. So when it says he took some wine, it doesn't mean he actually took the wine, which is interesting, because the Mishnah says he took the wine. Ella, rather, kivan shehigbia lital, if his intention was to take some wine, even though if he didn't take it. Okay, the Gemara is going to explain. So the Gemara has a havamina. The Gemara thinks that maybe lema kasavar Shmuel shlichas yad eina tzricha chisaron. I might think that shlichas yad doesn't need to have a chisaron to actually take something from the object, from the watched object, because Shmuel says that as long as he lifts it up with the intention of taking, that's already chayiv. Okay, which the Gemara doesn't want to say that, because that's already machlekes, and we don't want to get involved in that. Says the Gemara, no, you don't have to say that. Amri, over here it's a different reason. Shiny hacha over here is different. The nichale, he's happy. The shemer, the watcher is happy that the heavy hachavis kula basis laharavias. Means over here when he lifted up the barrel, he needs the and he only wants to take for himself a revius. Revius is 3 ounces, approximately 3 ounces. But he needs the whole chavis. He needs the whole barrel of wine. The barrel. He needs all the wine to protect to protect those 3 ounces, because 3 ounces by themselves don't last very long, and he has nowhere to put them. So he's really using the rest of the barrel as to protect the rest to protect the wine which he wants, so then because he's using it, so now he's responsible, just like any shayel, any borrower is responsible for einus, for things for unsavable things. But Ravashi asks a question. What about if he lifted up a sack full of coins? He could be an arniki little dinar. He lifted it up with the intention to take for himself only 1 coin. Mahu, what is the halacha? So now, does the Gemara? The Gemara has a suffix. Maybe the rest of the coins are he's using them to safeguard the 1 coin, or maybe not. Let's see. Wine is for sure it's not protected unless it's within a large. It's within a whole barrel of wine, because, or do you say no? Or by coins you say no. Mintar coin, you don't need. It's not necessary to have a whole arniki, a whole sack full of coins to protect an individual coin. Or you say no, even though it's not critical, it's not crucial, but there is some sort of there's some enhancement to the protection, because when you have a sack full of coins, then they all protect each other, but not as much as wine. But maybe that's different. Maybe, but maybe yeah. Even though it's different than wine, but at least there's something. And really, he becomes a shayel. He's borrowing all of them to protect what he wants, and that would be shlichas yad and everything. Teku, and the Gemara leaves this question unanswered for now. Okay, Hadron Alaf Parakamafkin. Okay. So let's jump in right away to the next parak. Parak Hazav. Parak Hazav is discussing. It's called Maisa Kinyan. Maisa Kinyan, and Maisa Kinyan means that someone that by commerce, where people are buying and selling, and in order to be considered halachically an owner, you have to, when you're buying something, you have to make a Maisa Kinyan, an action of requirement, of acquirement. There's different ways. There's different kinyanim that we're gonna see. The Mishnah starting with let's start with splitting it up into karka and metaltalin. Karka is real estate. Metaltalin are anything else besides real estate. Now the way to when it comes to buying anything else like metaltalin, movable items. So there's many kinyanim. We're going to discuss right now today 2 of those kinyanim, those actions of acquirement. Everyone knows Pesach, when you sell your chametz to the Rav. So when you sell your chametz to the rabbi, so you have to make, so he's buying the chametz from you, and so he does an action of acquirement of your chametz. Okay, so now. So there's 2 ways to do that. I mean, there's really more, but today we're going to discuss 2 of them. One is meshicha. Meshicha means taking the object which you want to buy. The buyer's taking that object and he brings it into his possession. That's meshicha. The other form is called chalipin. It means there's the buyer and the seller, and they're just exchanging the items. So as soon as one of them picks up the item, automatically when that's called chalipin, when it's called a handkerchief, even though it's nothing, the handkerchief has nothing to do with the object of that you're buying and selling. There's money, there's the object, and then there's a third thing called that you're taking a handkerchief or something, a hat or a yarmulke or something like that, and we're going to see who has to pick it up. There's a machlekes in the Gemara, but by lifting that up, that makes the sale final. Okay, says the Mishnah. Okay, there's one more introduction to the Mishnah, is that there's, when it comes to by meshicha means bringing the object into your possession. So every sale, there's 2 things involved. There's the kesef, the money involved, and the object. Okay, so in order to, the meshicha is always going, the meshicha, you're always bringing the object. The money itself is not kona. It's not, by paying money, halachically, it's still in the possession. Nothing happens halachically. I mean, something actually does happen. We're going to see in a second, but we're going to see it. This is where the fun starts. What happens when you give money? Because if it's halachically not as final sale, so what happens? We're going to see that in this parak, which is, we're just starting the fun. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. Hazav kaina esa kesef. Okay, so we have over here, there's somebody's buying gold. Somebody's buying gold. The gold is he's buying gold worth 1,000. He's buying gold for silver. He's giving in silver to buy gold. Okay, so gold is considered, the Mishnah is going to calls the gold as the object, and kesef is the silver is really currency. So okay, so we have gold and silver. We have to define which one's currency and which one's merchandise. So the Mishnah considers the gold as merchandise and the silver as currency. And therefore, when meshicha, you have to take the merchandise into your possession. Says the Mishnah, Hazav kainesa kesef. By taking the gold into your possession, that is what's the kinyan. That's what's defined the action of acquirement. Hazav kainesa kesef. However, hakesef, by the one who's receiving the kesef, if he picks up the silver, and kesef over here means silver. It means silver coins and gold coins. Silver coins, eina kaines hazav, do not they are not kaina es hazav. That means if the one who's buying the silver, when he picks up the silver into his possession, then it's not kaina. It's not, the sale's not final, because that's really called kesef, money, and money is not a final sale halachically. Hanachayches. Okay, so compared to gold, when you have gold and silver, silver is the one which is the currency. Hanachayches. When it comes to copper and silver, again, silver is the currency. Hanachayches kainas hazav. Hanachayches is kind of. I'm sorry, kainas hakesef. It's kind of the silver. But hakesef ain't kainas hanachayches. And the silver is not kind of it's not kind of nachayches because silver is the currency and the copper is the merchandise. Ma'isa rice, new case. If you have bad coins and good coins, so the bad coins are considered merchandise, and the good coins are considered currency. Ma'isa rice kindness sayafes. Bad coins, they can they're the ones which acquire the good coins. But Hayafis, the good coins, ain't kindness rice. They don't acquire the bad coins. The same idea, because you have to take the currency. Picking up the currency is really paying with money, and paying with money is not final. A siman kaina esamatbeya. A siman is a coin that doesn't have a picture. It's an unfinished coin. That one is again kind of matbeya. That's the merchandise, and it's kind of the good coins. But matbeya and the good coin ain't a kind of sasiman. It's not kind of the unfinished coin. Metaltalin, any movable item. Kainin as a matbeya, that they acquire the coins. Matbeya ain't a kind of metaltalin. The same idea. Says the Mishnah, Kol hametaltalin kainim ze'ezeh. Okay, the Mishnah is going to explain. Metaltalin, if you're buying and selling two different items with no money involved over here. There's money. We're going to see in a second. There actually is money involved. So kainim ze'ezeh. They acquire each other. Ketzad. Mashach heimenu peres v'lo nasan lo mais. If he picked up the peres, the fruits which are metaltalin, and he didn't pay for them, again, that's because he didn't action the requirement. Nasan lo mais. If he gave coins, he gave money, v'lo mashach, and for some reason the actual item that he's selling, he didn't do a mashicha, he didn't pick it up and bring it into his possession. Then they can back out from the sale because because you need to have the mashicha to be the action, and the actual money itself is not final, and they can back out. But the Mishnah tells us, 1 second, don't just think that when you give money for something and you didn't do anything else, you didn't do the actual mashicha, the actual kinyan, don't just think that you can just back out and be scot-free. Aval amru misha para, they said, 1 second, you're gonna get it's really bad. What's bad things are gonna happen to you. Misha para mi anshe dar hamabel umidar haflaga. So this is really it's called in halacha misha para, because these are the first two words. Misha para means that if somebody backs out from a sale after giving money, even though the sale's not final, but Hashem is going to punish him. Misha para, Hashem will punish the anshe dar mabel, the people of the mabel, and he drowned and he brought them the whole mabel. Midar flaga, he punished them. Who asidli para, he's going to punish mimisha eine emi b'diburai. He's going to punish somebody doesn't keep his word, and backs out from a sale after he gives the money. Obviously, it's if he backs out without the permission of his friend. If they both agree, then if they both come to an agreement, that's fine. But if he just backs out and saying, "I don't care about you," then Hashem is going to punish him. Rabbi Shimon argues, and he says, don't just think that kesef, that money is not he can back out halachically. No, because the sale is final. That means even when he gives money, there's some sort of final sale involved. That means the seller can back out. The seller has the upper hand. It means the seller can back out, but the buyer has no right to back out. So you see that it really is final for the buyer. That's Reb Shimon's take on. That's Reb Shimon's shita. Okay. Okay. This is
either one says whoever has the money in his possession. So that would be the buyer.
That would be the buyer. I'm sorry, the seller.
Seller.
The meicher, the seller. Did I say buyer?
No,
I think I remember I said buyer by mistake. The seller, the one who receives the money.
Because he has the money now, so he has the upper hand.
Yes, for him he can back out. He has the money, but the buyer is stuck. It's final. I mean that argument Tanna Kamma holds they both can back out. Rabbi Shimon argues and says that only the seller can back out, not the buyer.
Rabbi, could you please tell me the page number and first word on the line that we're on right now?
Sure. We're on 44a, Mem Dalet Amud Aleph. 8 lines from the bottom, where it says Gemara.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you find it, Eric?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, this is just the introduction to the parak. This parak talks about all these halachas of back and forth of commerce, buying and selling. Okay. Masni le Rabbi le Rab Shimon Berei. Rabbi was the one who was set over. He was the one that organized the Mishnayos. He was saying over this Mishnah to Rab Shimon, his son Rab Shimon, Hazav kaina es hakesef. Okay, because we're going to see in a second that it may be differently, maybe viewed differently. Maybe the gold is the currency. So he said Hazav kaina es hakesef. No, like we have the Mishnah, like we explained before. Gold and silver, we treat the silver as the currency and gold as the merchandise. So he said like we have. Amar le, so his son Reb Shimon told him, Rabbi, my rabbi, Shtanisa lanu biyadusecha, you taught us when you were younger. Then the other way around, hakesef kainas hazav, gold is the one that's the currency, and silver is kaina the gold. V'tachzar v'tishna lanu. So he was asking. He was really he was wondering, and now v'tachzar v'tishna lanu b'zikinusecha. Now you're going to change and say over differently. Hazav kainas hakesef. So that was the end of the story. Says the Gemara. So we see that there's something going on. Like there was like a back and forth. Which one's the currency, right? Mm-hmm. Says so the Gemara is going to explain. Bialduse my savar, v'ziknuse my savar. What did Rebbe think in his childhood, in his younger years, and what did he think? V'ziknuse my savar. What did he think in his older years? Says the Gemara. Bialduse savar. When he was younger, he thought to have a gold, the chashiv, which is very important. Gold is obvious. Everyone understands that gold is much more important, and everyone's wondering why would you think that gold is considered as merchandise regarding to silver, right? So that's what he said. The have the chashiv, gold, which is valuable. Have a tiva. That's the one that's treated as currency. Kaspa, however, silver, delay chashiv, silver which is not chashiv, have a pera, is considered merchandise. The kanile pera litiva, and the peras, the merchandise, when by picking that, by bringing that into your possession, that makes the sale final, and that's kind of the tiva, the money. Biziknuse savar, when he got older, he said he thought he had a different view. Kaspa, we're turning the page to 44b. Kaspa, the charif, silver, which is charif means really spicy. I mean, in literal translation, but it means charif means it's currency. That's what people deal with. People don't deal with gold every day. People are dealing with the silver coins because that's what people are buying and selling with. That is have a tiva. That is treated as the currency. To have a gold delay charif, doesn't go so well in the market. People, it's not as common to people to buy and sell with gold. I mean, they do maybe bigger transactions, but like small transactions are not done with gold. Because of that, we can treat it as pera. It's treated as merchandise. The kani le pera lativa, and the peras by picking up the gold, that is what makes the sale final. Okay, so we see right away there's two ways to view it.
I'm sorry, Rabbi. Are we on 44b?
Yes, we just turned to page to 44b.
Thank you.
Yes, 2 lines. The second line, Amar in the middle of the line, Amar Avashi.
Thank you.
Okay, Amar Avashi says Ravashi, Ki Yalduse Mistabro. It would seem like he held in his younger years. that the gold is the currency. Midikatani, because the next because the Mishnah had another case. The second case in the Mishnah was Hanachayches Kainesa Kesef. Copper is kind of gold. It's kind of silver, and we treat copper as the merchandise and silver as currency. If you tell me Bishlama, when it comes to gold and silver, Kaspa Lagabi Dahava Peira Have, the silver is the merchandise regarding to gold. Hainu de Katani, that's why the Mishnah comes on and says Hanachayches Kainesa Kesef. That's why when the next case we understand that the copper and silver, so silver is the currency. That even though the Apalpi de Lagabi Dahava, even though regarding gold, we treat silver as peiros, as the merchandise. So silver can be treated in two ways. We can treat it as merchandise regarding to gold, because gold is more important. But when it comes to copper, then we treat it as currency. That would make sense. That would fit in with what the Mishnah is saying. If you're going to tell me that gold and silver is always the currency, so what's the Mishnah? Why does the Mishnah have to continue to teach us by copper? I mean, if by gold and silver we treat silver as a currency, for sure we're going to treat it as currency regarding to copper. When it comes to gold, which is more chashiv, which is more valuable, we say even so the silver is currency. In regarding to copper, the EU chashiv, copper is the silver is more valuable. The EU charif, and it goes and people use it more for buying and selling. We need the Mishnah to tell us that. I mean, if we're starting off the Mishnah as silver is always the currency, so then let's leave it there. We don't have to say the next case. So the first must be that no, silver and gold is the currency, and copper and silver, then silver is the currency.
So that's leading you to think that the higher item is the currency.
And that's what we're not sure about. Yes, we think like that. We want, but based on we're trying to bring proof from the Mishnah like that. Yeah.
So platinum and gold. Platinum would be
the platinum and gold.
Following that logic.
Then you said platinum.
So we're talking. I don't know if we're going to say this about everything, because you can have something a very valuable bottle of whiskey that's worth. It can be worth who knows what, but it has to be. Gold is like gold and silver and copper are unique, because on one hand they can be treated as merchandise, but on the other hand they're used as currency. So the gold we're talking about over here, when it's used as when it's gold coins. We're not talking about gold bullion. We're talking about gold or gold rings. We're talking about gold as gold coins. Yeah. So gold can be yeah. Yeah, that's confusing. The gold that we're talking about over here is gold coins, gold and silver and copper coins. The halacha will change the halacha is different when it's raw gold and raw silver. Yeah. Says the Gemara. No, it's true. You have no proof from the Mishnah. I might think hani priti, these copper, but it means really we're going back and we're saying that silver is always the currency. So why do we change over to? Why do we say again? Why the second case of copper and silver? And we just don't assume that we can understand it on our own, because says the Gemara hani priti, these copper coins. But Astra the Sagi, when they are in the place that they are, some places that they use copper coins much more than they use silver. And I would think in the place where copper is used more frequently, inu charifi, they are charifi, they are used more. Tpemi kaspa, they're ema teva have. I might think in that place when we treat copper as currency, and we treat silver as the merchandise. Kamash Malan, that we don't say that. Kivan the ikadochta delay sagi be peira delay sagi be, in the place where they don't have so much copper, peira have. No, as long, because even though there are some places that the copper is used as currency, but that's only in small in remote in some places not so many places, and that doesn't change the halacha. It's not going to change the halacha of copper, of silver. Silver is always the currency. Says the Gemara continues on. The Reb Chia Savar, Reb Chia also holds the Hava Tiva Have. Gold is the currency. The Gemara is going to bring a proof from from a story. The Rav Isaac Dinri Mibrate de Reb Chia. Rav borrowed money from the daughter of Reb Chia. Now they were cousins because Reb Chia was Rav's uncle. So Rav borrowed money from the daughter of Reb Chia. L'saif at the end Aikir Dinri. So he borrowed gold coins, and then the gold coins went up in value. He wasn't sure what to do. Can I pay back the same coins? Maybe because now they're worth more. Maybe that's interest. The saif Iker Dinri. The gold coins went up in value. Now, if it was currency, so that's fine because currency is currency. Currency doesn't change. But if the gold is treated as merchandise, so then that would be a problem of interest. He came to Reb Chia and he asked him what to do. Go pay her back. Havin ut kilin. Go pay her back. The good coins and coins that that didn't lose any of their weight. That means you have to pay back the same coins which you borrowed. Don't think that you should pay back coins which are worth less because of interest. No, you have to pay back those same coins which you borrowed. That was the end of the story. Says the Gemara. So Gemara is bring a proof from here that gold is currency. If you're telling me that to have a tiva have that gold is the currency have a shapir, then there's no problem of interest. If we're treating gold as merchandise, have a sabisa. That's like borrowing one basket of fruits for another, and to pay back another basket of fruits, which is a problem of ribis because merchandise fluctuates, and if it goes up in value, and you pay back the same what you borrowed, that is a problem of interest. You're paying back more value than you borrowed, and that's a problem. So it must be its currency, and the currency doesn't change. It's the market which is fluctuating. So we treat gold as we treat gold as the currency. Says the Gemara, no. Rav dinri habule. Rav had some gold coins in his possession. The kivan de habule dinri, because he had some gold coins in his possession, so that permitted him to borrow. We can treat this gold as merchandise. So the question was, it's a problem of interest. Rav had some coins in his pocket, in his home, somewhere in his possession, that permitted him to borrow merchandise, which really leads us to the halacha that borrowing merchandise is even though I just said before it's a problem of interest, but there's one exception. That means, or there's more than one exception, but there's an exception. There's an exception that if the borrower has those fruits, those merchandise in his possession, even though it's far, no matter where it is, that permits him to borrow merchandise and pay back merchandise. We're not going to go into that right now. Why that's permitted. However, the Gemara said you have no proof from here because Rav himself he had those gold coins. He had some of them put away, which permitted him to borrow gold coins and pay back gold coins, even though we treat them as merchandise. Even to Havale Dinri, because he had some gold coins, Nasa Kaimerla, it's as if he told him, Halveni Achiyava Bini Ayachem Samafteach, which is a halacha which comes up in the next chapter, the next parak of Ezo Neshech, the halachas of interest. Those fun halachas. Amar Rava. Okay, Rava wants to bring proof, try to bring proof from a Mishnah that gold is considered the currency. Amar Rava, Hai Tana, the following Tana Savar holds Dahava Tiva Have. Gold is considered the currency. The Tanya, the Brisa says, Pruta Amru. The Mishnah is going. So we have prutas. Prutas are copper pennies, which today's value is probably about 5 cents. Pruta, the halacha pruta, 5 cents, 3 cents, something like that. Pruta Amru is echad mishmayna b'isser italki. It's 1/8 of an isser, an Italian isser. The minaf kamina. Why do What do I care about that? The Kiddusha Isha. That's for being Mekadesh a woman. The Mekadesh a woman. So if you give her kesef, if you give her money, so that's a kinyan. So then that makes them engaged. And you need a pruta. All you need is 3 cents or 5 cents, whatever it is, to borrow, to make it, to be mekat, to make an engagement. Isser, so the Isser echad me esrim va'arba b'dinar shel kesef. An Isser is 1 out of 24 of a silver dinar. The ma'inaf kamina. What do I need to know this for? The mekach umemkar for buying and selling, for commerce, because we want to make sure that everything fits in. That when you're selling the dinar, he's getting what he paid for, and we have to know how much it's worth. Dinar shel kesef, a silver dinar, is echad me esrim v'chamisha b'dinar shel zav. It's 1 out of 25, which is of a golden dinar. The ma'inaf kamina. What do I have to know this for? Le pidyon haben. Pidyon haben is pidyon haben. It means pidyon haben. We need five slaim, 5 shkalim, and we have to know how much the value is for because if the kohen receives, sometimes he gets gold, sometimes he gets silver coins. Yeah, we have to know how much he's supposed to get and how much he has to get back. And the Mishnah and the Brisa ends there with the silver, with the golden dinar. So that's really we're marking everything measuring everything with the golden dinar. Says the Gemara. If you tell me tiva have, gold is the currency. The Tana is using gold as something which is stable, because currency doesn't change. If you tell me pera have, if you tell me that it's considered merchandise, mishaer Tana b'midi the Iker Vizil. If gold is the one that's fluctuating, then it doesn't make sense. Why are we using something which fluctuates? We want to be a solid measurement. It's not going to change, right? So why are we choosing gold? Must be gold is the one which is the currency and doesn't change. Zimdin the Mahadin, the Gemara continues. If you're going to use gold as a measurement and it's really fluctuating, Zimdin the Mahadin like kahana, the Zimdin the Maisav La'iu, the kahana. Sometimes if you're going to use this measurement, it's not going to be good, because sometimes you're going to have to the kohen who's receiving more than he's supposed to get he's going to have to give back, and sometimes you're going to have to the Zimdin the Maisav La'iu lakana. Sometimes he's going to have to give back. He's going to have to give the kohen even more than he gave. Because if it's fluctuating and you're measuring with something which fluctuates, that's not good. We want to get something that's concrete. Ella, rather, shmamina tiva have. We see from this brisa that gold is the tiva, is the currency, and that's very stable and doesn't change. That's why we're using it to measure the pidyon haben. Shmamina. Let's start the next Gemara. We have 2 more minutes. Tanan Hasam. The Mishnah, it's a Mishnah in Masechta Meiser Sheni. The Mishnah in Meiser Sheni talks about the halacha is on the farmer who has crops in Eretz Yisrael. He has to take off my truma, Meiser, and Meiser Sheni. So Meiser Sheni, what he does is he takes off 1/10 of his really Meiser Rishon is 1/10 of the crops, and Meiser Sheni it's 1/10 after that. And the halacha is he has to bring them up to Yerushalayim and eat those fruits in Yerushalayim. Now, if he has too much crop to bring up to Yerushalayim, so what he does is he redeems the value of the crop onto coins, and he takes those coins and to Yerushalayim, and he buys food and in Yerushalayim. Now, somebody over here, he has coins of Meiser Sheni. It means he had those coins, he redeems his crop onto coins, and he has those coins of Meiser Sheni. Beishamai says, Lo yasa adam slaim din rezahav. One may not make his slaim, his silver coins, he cannot redeem them onto gold. I mean, the same thing applies. Once you redeem them onto coins, you can continue on to redeem them onto different coins. Says Beishamai, you cannot redeem from silver to gold. Well, Beis Hillel allows that. Okay, the next Gemara we'll stop here because the next Gemara even continues its one continuation, and I think it's a good stopping point. Thank you, everyone.